Hello and welcome to a new episode of Voice of Crypto. I'm Abhishek, and Voice of Crypto is a podcast which talks about Web3, Metaverse, NFT, crypto, everything which you want to know about this new digital asset class. And today I have a very special guest, Lexi, on this podcast. Lexi is an expert, and she is the first guest on this podcast who comes from the background of the AML side of the transactions and how this is done. So welcome on the podcast, Lexi.
Hi, thank you, Abby, for the introduction. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So Lexi, as I said, AML regulation compliances is something which is needed in this industry. So why don't you talk about your journey towards this and explain us what do you do? And as I say, most of Web3 people who get into this industry, they come here by accident. So what was your journey before getting into Web3 and what you're doing currently here?
Sure, brilliant. So currently I work for a company called a coin firm. So we're a leading AML blockchain analytics company. So how I started my Web3 journey is like everyone else, most of them, like by accident. So I was in like a creative industry and fintech industry for the past 10 years. And the last job I did before coin firm is like a fintech company doing trading. And then I realized crypto is like everyone's talk about, it's such a hot topic. And I get more and more interested after I do more research. So then I have this great opportunity to join this company, and then here we go. So I'm now like a enthusiasm for crypto and Web3, and also because I have some creativity background, so I understand fully the ownership of NFT. So that's perfect. Some like my previous colleagues in galleries, they are also in the same like ecosystem but doing different things. So like everyone expected, blockchain make the world smaller and make all the industry come to the same place, which is amazing. So talk a little bit about coin firm. So we started from 2016. So when Bitcoin created 2009, there's no tool can trace the transaction. And that's why we started to have our sector as like a blockchain analytics company is because of the regulation, i.e. the institutions and institutional investors, they have to know where is their transaction coming from and where is that going to. So it is quite difficult to trace the transaction without an advanced tool. So our co-founder, they have the background in traditional AML in investment banks. So they found this market gap and create coin firm in 2016. That's where we are now. So most of the regulations comes from financial action task forces or FATF recommendations. Mm-hmm. And without a proper AML compliance, there is always the looming risk of crippling regulatory actions that will bring your business to a halt or get fined, or the worst scenario, to face some criminal actions for non-compliance. Mm-hmm. So that's what we can help with coin firm to minimize the regulatory risks, so you don't have to worry about them at all and focus on the growth of your crypto or blockchain tech platform.
Wow. So Lexi, for our listeners, what does AML stands for, and what is the use of AML currently, which you see?
So AML stands for anti-money laundering. So that's a sector of compliance. So maybe past 8 years, or even from my mom's generation, when I talk about crypto for them, they think, oh, this is a tool for laundering money. So when they run somewhere, it's like a bad reputation. And here we go. We are helping to anti-money laundering.
So Alexi, just to simplify things, how do you explain Web 3.0 to a 5-year-old in just 25 words? How do you simplify these things for somebody who's just 5-year-old?
Okay, I will start from like
You can try, sure.
W. Okay, so I will say Web 1 is read only. Web 2 is read and create. Web 3 is read and create and own. That's 5 words in total.
I think it should be. Great. So Lexi, since we're talking about AML and we are understanding analytics, and while I was talking to Lexi, she also spoke about that their firm can track a transaction which might have happened 10 years back as well. So you can backtrack these transactions as well. And how do you think it is helping the ecosystem of crypto and Web3 in the evolution from a regulatory side of from a regulatory side of things which are happening currently in market?
So there's always the concern in this industry, which is the uncertainty of the regulatory landscape, which is make like a different country have different law or policy, make it like end users difficult to operate their business, because it's always like an update of a bill or like an update of a policy. But what we can do as a blockchain analytics company, because we can see all the transactions on blockchain, and currently Coinfirm support 45 different network across like 920,000 different token and coins, which is like daily create more from like all the platform. So because of that, we try to present ourselves like a bridge between the public sector, like FIUs or regulators, with the private sector, like the virtual asset service providers and different exchanges or different financial institutions they would like to offer the cryptocurrency business. How we do that is, one way we will have like the training program with different countries' regulators, and also we will involve with consultancy, which is involve their consultancy period to publish like Mica, one of our head of like regulatory affair. Her name is Barbara. She even wrote a paragraph in Mica for the travel road.
Sorry, what is Mica for us who don't know?
So Mica is the markets in crypto assets.
Understood.
So that's a provisional agreement in the EU and the release of the framework for international engagement on digital asset in US, and signal a desire to provide regulatory clarity in this space.
Understood. So as we talk more about regulation, as we talk about more about compliances, where do you see the markets evolve in next 5 to 10 years from a Web3 perspective, which will include, because I think what we're talking about is economics, we are talking about the cultural shift. Where do you see 10 years down the line where we will be in the Web3 journey?
So for my personal view, I think, although now it's like a bear market, but there's so many crypto conference attract so many market players. It doesn't feel like a winter at all when you're going to. So if I may say, in the 5 or 10 years time, all the regulators, they are all trying their best to find the appropriate policy for their territory, to attract more institution and institutional investors to step in this ecosystem. So I will say more stability in 5 years time or 10 years time compared to the previous 5 years time, because when the banks or the big whales, they invest in this ecosystem, or we call that massive adoption, in the sense of it's more like everyone can get involved and it's more stable, and the price is not gonna looks like from like, I don't know, 5 years time is a 3,001 Bitcoin to like last November
60,000
1,001 Bitcoin, and now drop to like 20K roughly. So maybe in the future, it will be not that volatility, price can be more stable.
Right. So we have been hearing a lot of, in fact, from last 9 to 10 months, we have been hearing a lot of institutions who are getting into it. So we have been hearing JP Morgan getting into it. In fact, we already know Tesla as an institution has invested. I think that was something which brought the last bull cycle when Tesla announced that they'll be accepting Bitcoin. We have been hearing about Michael Saylor's company getting into this. So as we move forward, Lexi, because you are from the industry sector, do you think this institutionals, when they come into the crypto and the Bitcoin market, don't you think, again, a hypothetical question, and I understand this question you will be answering probably from a personal point of view, is don't you think the whole idea of decentralized would go away if these institutes start coming in again and they start capturing a lot of market there? What are your personal views on this?
So for a lot of like big names like Fidelity, they even have their Fidelity DeFi, right? And other like big, well-known like financial institutions, they're attempting. But until there's a clarity of the regulation, they are really conservative to move forward. So if I may say, they eventually will be whether there is like a clear regulation and the big financial institutions will recruit like the right team and have the proper technology to design the product into the Web3 this ecosystem, or like the ICO or the currently market player from the Web3, they attract more investors, like institutional investors, towards them. So it will be like whether it's from the top down or it's from bottom up, and they will meet in the middle.
So there'll be a sweet spot where both decentralization and institutes will meet.
Yeah,
that's what we all hope for, and I think that should happen as we go forward from here. Great. Interesting conversations happening, guys, with Lexi. Those who are hearing or those who are listening or watching this video, keep watching. And as I try to extract more insights about the industry, how the industry functions, and how AML happens, across multiple categories, and how Lexi and his team and our team is trying to do something to create an ecosystem which is accepted by traditional institutes as well, right? So now, since we're talking about Web3, we're talking about crypto. There are a lot of myths currently about Web3 and crypto. In fact, one myth which I know of is everybody thinks it's you just go into crypto, you make billions and millions, and you get out of it. So, and people don't know that crypto is just a small part of the whole Web 3.0. So what are some other myths while you talk to and you talk to people from the institutional investor point of view as well? What are some of the myths which you would like to burst as we get started on the next session of our podcast here?
Sure. So there is exciting time about Web3. Web3 is like decentralized. It's everyone can own your own data. It's not like you create something and you give like the right of your data to like a big tech. It's like you actually have the ownership. There's so many things like Internet of Things. That's really amazing. I really wanted one of like in the line, maybe 10 years time, all my fridge, from my phone, from my milk can be linked together. That's amazing. And it's the same scenario for the home security. And also like the NFT is very popular for the past few years. Now, because of the bear market, maybe a little bit cooled down. And another thing is really, really popular is the Metaverse. The Metaverse is everything you can imagine. It can be a twin technology. What we are seeing, what we're using, even one of like the police station just create their Metaverse police station like the past few weeks. It's fascinating space.
Yeah. So I think a lot of interesting things are happening, and we are just getting started. We are just at the starting of this tech cultural revolution, which probably we as a generation will create for the next generation which is coming in, and they will see what we are trying to do and learn from it. So moving on to my next question is, how does analytics work in blockchain? So again, it will be really great if you could simplify these things for us and for our listeners. How and how do you guys help brands or blockchains to implement these analytics?
Sure, I will do that in a really high level. That will start from where we collect the data and how we translate the data, and how could be the use case for every exchanges and custodians or regulators to use it. So we have three different sources to collect our data. We have on-chain transactional data, which at CoinFirm, we have our own nodes in 45 different blockchain, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also Solana, Avalanche, Faircoin, Near Foundation, you name it. And after we have the scraper to see all the transactional data in our database, we also have the off-chain data. The off-chain data will be really valuable because we have the data of the different bad actors, naming ransomware group, weapon trading group, or they involve is like darknet markets. We have like off-chain, like 1 petabyte off-chain data, which can communicate with the on-chain data. If this is like the bad actor wallet and they have some transaction, the risk from the bad actor will transfer to 1 hops away or 2 hops away. And in CoinFirm, we can trace back 200 hops away. So another source we have our data collection is called shared intelligence. So we work with some like public sectors. If they have some open criminal cases, they will give us the shared wallet addresses, which is involved with some illicit activities. So that's where we collect the data. And the one of thing I would like to emphasize is at CoinFirm, we really focus on the privacy of the data. So we are a European company fully applied to GDPR, and everything we build is in-house. Our data analyst and all the technology back is in-house. So after we collect this data, we have to use it. Different data can tell different story. So you can use the data to tell a story about which is next trend to invest in. But we look in behaviors. So we can see all the transaction data into, there is a concept called data clustering. Let's say there is an individual called John Smith. We say his wallet is like part of the darknet market. And we can see a methodology of all the behavior happened on blockchain. Maybe John Smith has 10 different wallet addresses, but we can match the behavior with our algorithm to confirm that's from the same individual or the same multiple people as an entity to control the wallet behind them. It's like one of the most famous darknet market group called Silk Road. So we have a big data collection for the Silk Road wallet addresses. So we can say whether you have different laundering money mechanism, like you're layering the money, or you transact 10 hops away, and another one transact 5 hops away in another wallet, and all combine in a mapping way into the one darknet market, which is Silk Road. Well, they just like shut down, but they're still the one of the most famous ones. And then after we have this methodology to give you the bad actor and see the transaction, we screen your wallet, as in your like exchange or your user of an exchange, and we give you a score. If this score is really high, that means we can say in the past transaction you involved with some potential illicit activity, or your risk exposure is high. And we have our own in-house like calculation for the score, which is the low is 0 to 33, and the medium is about 33 below the 66, and the high is above 66. And that's our way to screen in the wallet, give you a score, or we can screen a transaction, give you a score.
Wow. Wow, this is really interesting, and I think I had never known about that. This is what goes when you do analytics. So in a nutshell, it is something like a credit score for a person when he wants to check his own score on a personal wallet. I would say rather than a person, it's more from the institution point of view.
It can, for us, we'll start it from crypto exchanges. It's
Mhm.
like we mentioned, like the Mica or regulator, like the travel rule,
Mhm.
they will always ask crypto exchanges or custodian, like the virtual asset service providers, have the responsibility to
Mhm.
collect KYC. So know your customer. First, you know the ID and who they are,
Mhm.
and then implement anti-money laundering compliance framework to make sure it's coming in and going out transactions are no illicit activity or potential exposure for AML and CTF.
Interesting. So, guys, those who are listening to this is a really interesting category. And since we are talking about this, Lexi, what is the scope of this industry? I mean, is this industry growing? Are governments more? Are they interested in understanding this category better? Are there more job openings happening? So people, because a lot of young people also listen to this podcast, and if they want to get into this industry as for an employment point of view, what does the future looks like?
I think it's amazing. I mean, I took one of my neighborhood, like a high school student, like he's only 17 years old in Tiffin school, and he's super interested in Web3. And I took him to kind of work the level 39 for one of like the crypto event. And he's like really enthusiasm about everything about NFT. And his dream is like gonna do his degree in computer science and then create his own business on Web3 with his brother. And I know many people after so many events and networking, they're still college students, university students, and they look for opportunities. And I also know a lot of like people from like engagement on work, like maybe Binance, Kraken, like the namely big exchanges. They
Right.
have really young people there, like to doing business like a really cool stuff like developer or product owner, or they really know what is the next generation big things coming. So
Mhm.
that's a really good environment, I would say.
Wow. So a lot of good opportunities, and really the future looks bright in all these young hands who are getting into. I mean, at the age of 17-year-old, I didn't know what to do with my life. But if somebody is actually interested in Web3, it is really bringing in a lot of good talent into the industry.
Yes, 100%.
So, Lexi, I mean, as you said, you have been into fintech industry for a very almost a decade, is what I remember you said, and then you moved to Web3. Uh, Looking back, if there's anything else which you would like to change about your career or your growth, is there anything which you would like to change?
Um, Let me correct a little bit. I have like 10 years like experience both in creativity industry plus fintech.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
If I will change my career at this moment, I maybe will just choose a device sector of Web3. This is the future to be. I want my child to be in this sector if she or he would like to, because eventually we're talking about maybe 10 years ago, we're talking about fintech, we're regtech and insurance.
Mm.
Every sector we can think about, even about medical, even about public sector, they all have like a tech after it. The reason behind is the technology going to eventually benefit all the industry, and Web3 is actually the cutting edge industry. Okay, if AI, artificial intelligence, is part of the Web3, then it's the same. Or the artificial intelligence is not a sector; it's the cutting edge.
Mm.
And I'm so proud I'm in this industry.
Wow. So as a newcomer, if somebody is looking to get into this industry, what advice you would like to give them? What are your top 3 tips which they should follow?
So for my personal experience, because maybe I have like the similar journey, so I'm gonna take my journey for the recommendation is first is like education, which is Web2 now have so many free materials you can learn. You can learn things from YouTube, you can learn things from a lot of good exchanges that have responsibility as well, like Binance Academic and a lot of exchange. They have the piece of their advice for the entering level people to learn about things, and you can learn to earn. Even you can learn some piece of Cardano and earn the coin. That's really cool. That's one piece. And also it's community focused industry. So we have to understand everyone has like a part of contribution, and we all have a right to say something and to make a bright future together. And this community is amazing. It's like I was looking for one of like panelists for our like one of the webinar, and I asked in like one of the Telegram group, and eventually people help people, and I found the perfect candidate to be on the webinar. This is just one small cases. Everyone help each other, and everyone's so welcoming, so smiling. No industry like this, to be honest. I mean, in my personal experience. So that's really good. And the last but not the least, I think we both need the soft skill and the hard skill at the same time, which is like, this is a really tight focus industry, apart from like educate ourselves from like the different web source. Maybe you would like to be like developer, then you need to learn a new language for blockchain, because a lot of like old language is not applicable. And maybe you want to do a really new sector, and then you can look for what is the hard skills you have to be. And that's, everyone will enjoy the journey.
Yeah. So I completely agree with the community part, Lexi, and I think, in fact, to all the listeners who are listening, I had met Lexi last month for a small event. I think we hardly spoke for a minute or two, and when I approached her on LinkedIn for this podcast, she readily agreed. And I think that's how the community grows. That's how connections are built. In Web3, as you rightly said, Web3 is all about where you are writing, you are also reading, and also creating. So I think the creative part is somewhere where, irrespective of what your expertise is, irrespective of what you have been doing, people help each other, and they come and they come all together to help each other. So that's, I think, the beauty of this community, and they're very welcoming to everyone who wants to learn to this. So those who are looking to learn, please don't be ashamed to ask anyone. I mean, I asked a very simple question, which might be stupid for somebody. If I don't know the meaning of AML, I asked her. So ask, because you don't know everything.
Right? Yes, 100%. That's exactly how I started. Nobody knows everything. And I need to ask all my team about the concept, about a lot of basic things. And eventually you will be the one to be asked the same question. Yes. And then you will review your journey. You will think, wow.
Correct. So Lexi, as a business development manager, what are some of the challenges which you face on a daily basis, or how does your day looks like? Like what do you do on a day-to-day basis in your work?
So because this is like a bear market, which talk about like a normal days and now. So normally, as a business development manager, our mission for the company is get new logo to close more deals. So we will have like the lead generation, which are the potential clients. After they read some amazing article we publish, they will come to our funnel, and then they're interested in what we are doing to have AML control for their company. And then I will understand their requirement and do a demo to have like a consultation, how we can help with perhaps lessening procedure or the other compliance requirements. And then I need continuously to nurture all the market players, because a lot of people, they are like from TradFi, and they just wanted to start this business as an idea. So we need to, from the very beginning, to introduce the blockchain foundation and what we can help and how you can grow as your company. So that's my daily life. And in bear market now, my daily life will be go-to-market strategy. As how we met is like I go to as much as event I can go. Like a working PR is like people ask what we're doing. Not many people know what AML, KYT, blockchain analytics. But after they saw me and have a chat, they will understand, oh, CoinFirm is amazing. They're literally helping this ecosystem. So, and then I will generate some meetings and introduce what we do, the same thing. The challenge of this role is the same. We have to continuously to read and learn about industry. There's a new scam coming from. There's a new technology. There's a new regulatory affair happened. And this is so many things we have to follow up. And that is everyone need to do. And we also, as blockchain analytics, we produce this type of like articles to educate more market players to read and understand this market.
Wow, wow. So this is the difference between a bull market and a bear market. When you are in between these markets, this is what happens. So as we come to the end of this podcast, Lexi, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about you, about your company? How can they reach out to you?
The most simplest way is LinkedIn, search Lexi Liu. So the spelling of my name is Lexilu. Yeah. And then you can search for our company. If you're difficult to find me on LinkedIn, it's CoinFirm. And after you visit our website, you will know a lot of information what we provide. Not only we provide AML framework, we can also provide investigation forensic. For example, if unfortunately a victim got hacked, and we can help the victim to trace the stolen fund into Mica and Tumblr. And we have the experience go to the court to be the witness to explain what's happened on the blockchain and eventually help the asset recovery procedure. So if you're interested, LinkedIn me, and then we can have a chat.
Sure. So I will put Lexi's LinkedIn link also in the description of this YouTube and podcast, and she's very active on LinkedIn. So if you ping her, I think within a day she will definitely respond, sometimes even faster for that. So Lexi, one last hypothetical question for you. If I give you a time machine and if you could go 10 years in future, where do you see yourself, both personally as well as professionally?
It's a question you think about it. 10 years time of now, travel forward. What I really want to do is like, if everyone in 10 years time will have like a metaverse piece, like a land or something, maybe I can create a charity in the metaverse. And then, so one of the projects I have done before, I mean, I need enough money. I hopefully 10 years time in the line, I already like can financial satisfy myself, and then I can choose whatever I want to do.
Correct.
And then one of the project I really loved, I did before, is for a charity called Voice of Hope. And then I was teaching Chinese food to like the vulnerable teenagers. And then we cook up like dumplings, noodles, like a set of meal, and deliver the meal to homeless people. So this is like a 3D project. And if there's so many cool project, literally the charity is doing, and in the light of crisis of cost of living, the bank should really doing something for society at the moment. But in time, hopefully that removed that concern already. But in Metaverse, we still need like a charity function to be able to let everyone feel the small kindness and care and love.
Wow, that's really a great gesture, Lexi. And I think, and on this note, we will. So one thing which I ask all my guests to do when they come on my podcast is to explain what is the idea behind Voice of Crypto. Lexi, is we are creating awareness about Web3, Metaverse, crypto, and it's not just my voice which is heard. We all are the voice of crypto. So you are a voice of crypto, I'm a voice of crypto, everybody's a voice of crypto. I would like you to say a sentence which says, I am the voice of crypto.
I'm the voice of crypto.
Thank you very much. And on this note, we will finish this recording. And thank you very much, Lexi, for coming on this podcast and explaining us what you do and how important are analytics and AML in the blockchain industry.